want to take you back to what you're talking about with Muay Thai. Before Kingdom, had you done any MMA?
Oh no, I thought MMA was like white trash, cockfighting for humans, blood sport. I thought it was a terrible, terrible thing for the world.
What point did you realize it wasn't?
When I started doing the show.
And so, take me a little bit through that process. Obviously, you've talked about on other shows the body transformation that you went through, which was a huge, I guess to say the least. But at what point did you realize that this is way more than white trash?
The first day I started meeting people in the community. I went out to like my first MMA gym and started training with Joe Daddy Stevenson and Warren Archuleta and that whole team, and meeting Greg Jackson. Greg Jackson by that point had just been on 60 Minutes. It was a flip of a switch. It wasn't like a process. I was like, I was totally wrong here.
And which facet of MMA did you begin with?
We really just did a whole. That's what's so dynamic about the sport, is that so many people up until this point have been coming to it from a discipline. They trained in jiu-jitsu, or they trained in Muay Thai, or they're boxers, and they started picking up all these other skill sets. But now young kids are training in MMA. So it's all around. They are training all around, and that's what makes the sport so exciting to watch, to be a fan of, to be a part of, because it's changing exponentially, and the quality of the fighters are getting better and better and better.
Is there a discipline that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, Muay Thai. I'm all about that Muay Thai life.
And how many times a week are you doing that Muay Thai?
I have not kicked a bag for 6 months. So it's been
before then.
Very, very troubling. One of the things about the injury that's somewhat revelatory is that they ask you some real questions where it's not like aspirational. So they'll say like, what are the things that you want to do moving forward? Because it's gonna, the either getting surgery or not getting surgery is a question. So there's certain sports that it doesn't really matter, and certain sports that it does, and some of the rehab but they ask real questions. And yeah, if you are telling people that you like Muay Thai, but you don't really love it, or you're not really doing it, that's the time where you're when you can't walk and one of your tendons is fully ruptured, and you're looking at a year rehab, and you're talking to multiple surgeons all over the world. You got to be really upfront. And I was like, man, the one thing I can't envision in my life is not kicking a heavy bag, not kicking Muay Thai pads. I want to, as one of the most important physical parts of my life. I love it. So I'm not great at it, but I love it. And so, if I can, now I feel like my schedule is changing so constantly with the kids. There's so little time. I'm squeezing this in just because it's like a nap time, and we don't have a weekend nanny. We've got somebody wonderful who helps us during the week, but you try to. Things are, and then, they get like an attachment issue. So now I can't leave. It's like all this. So I don't know. I'm hoping to get in a few days a week if I possibly can figure it out.
How did you rupture your Achilles?
Oh, just running. Been running the whole day and just doing the exact same thing over, and just collapsed as well. I thought like something fell from the ceiling and hit the back of my leg. So it's a petrifying injury because I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. Just dropped. I'm like, now I'm concerned that God, could I be on a camping trip and my Achilles goes out? You can't walk. I'm talking 6 months of before you can even lift off onto a heel. It's crazy.
This was right during COVID too.
This is the first day of shooting of a TV show, so I shut down production for a month. It was terrible. Wow. And we're lucky we only shut down for a month. It could have been 2 months, 2.5 months.
Now, are there any fighters that you've trained with you've trained with a bunch, that have maybe taught you the most about MMA, or that you've picked their brain at the most?
The thing about almost all these fighters is they're all saying the same thing, which is at a certain point, it's just a big mental game.
Really? And what are some of the conversations that you've had with them, particularly about the mental aspect?
You know, when you've done the work, it's about just showing up for that fight week. You've been in the camp and you've learned everything you're going to learn. You're going to pick up anything new. So now it's time to breathe and relax and have some fun and be open to the environment, be open to the world, see everything, smell everything, feel everything, release, be loose. You know, let it all come and find itself organically.
Did you ever?
That's why you see Conor McGregor out there doing the
Billy strut.
Yeah, I mean that's just him being loose, you know, and it's very intimidating to see somebody in a very stressful situation be totally relaxed. If you're not relaxed, you know, I mean that's what's got to freak out the Taliban and ISIS is when they see our special forces showing up and they're loose, you know, they're loose. Their hands aren't even on the trigger before they breach a door. I mean, they're that loose.
Right.
Because there's all these
Philosophical?
Nope.
Physiological?
Yes. Responses that change with stress. You know, when you're tight, you get tunnel vision and your response time slows and you can't smell as well. I mean, there are all these things you want to be totally relaxed and totally open to what's happening in the world.
How do you loosen up before you go on set?
You do the work. If you've done the work, you've done the work, you know. If you've prepared for something, then, you know, you just have to, then you're relaxed. It's when you haven't prepared that you get scared. And that's where you see people's egos come out because they're trying to cover up the fact that they haven't prepared. So they start calling out all these issues and start creating drama and fires when they're not really there, simply to cover up the fact that they're either not talented or they haven't done the work.
How do you tailor the preparation, you know, for each of your different characters over time?
I mean, I think if you're going to look at all of these other successful performers who perform on demand in stressful situations, they have something that they can kind of, you know, they're able to repeat and have replicable processes. So I think you have to have that no matter what you're doing, because if you don't have that, then you're just kind of out there in the wind hoping inspiration comes to you, and you can win here and there, but you're not going to be, you know, you're not going to be a Jordan or a Kobe or a Tiger. You know, you just know you're not going to win consistently.
Is that your goal, to be a Kobe or a Jordan or a Tiger?
I mean, you want to win. You want to create an authentic, dynamic character that's constantly, fully involved in every moment, showing up in every scene, from project to project. And, you know, you're going to lose a championship for sure, but in the aggregate, you know, you create the sort of, that's what happens when you create like a championship habit on and off the field. You just get to win a lot.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram @Felix.Levine, and if you have something to say, please leave a comment.